Once again, good morning, everybody. In the last session, we looked into what is the micro and small industries, and also we looked into what is the definition and how that particular definition is formed, and what are the factors when they are considering a micro or a small industry. What are the characteristics? What are the objectives? And what are the scope of the micro and the small scale industries. So today we'll look into how SSI can help in the economic development of a country. Okay, already we saw small scale industries are intensive. So labor intensive in the sense small scale industries need more labor. So when there is a requirement of a lot of labor, so automatically a lot of employment is generated. And also we saw the major portion of the employment generation happens in the small scale industries and it accounts for about 75% of the total employment that is generated. It comes only from the small scale industry. Optimization of a capital. So what is the optimization of a capital is, as we understand small scale industry, they require very small capital if you compare it to the per unit output. And also there is a rate of return is faster because the gestation time is very less. What is the gestation time? Gestation time is from the point of raw material to the finished product and getting the revenue out of that particular product. So that is how it is very optimal in using the capital. Excuse me. And also it helps in mobilizing small and scattered savings and channelize them into industrial activities. So what is the meaning of this is it will help in mobilizing the savings. Normally if you see whatever the money that is kept in the bank, it has to be invested somewhere. The entrepreneurs should be taking that money, converting that into some kind of a products, okay, utilizing the human and the material resources. That is how they can increase the value of that particular capital. That is how the banks are able to give you some interest, because somebody is taking that loan. Some entrepreneur is taking loan and they are investing in their businesses and their new startups. That is how they are maximizing the revenue. So small scale industry will help mobilize that particular money, which is if it is not used, it will be left idle. One second. One example is like in case of like some of the developed countries, they almost they don't provide any kind of a interest on the kind of money you keep in the bank. For example, FD in India we get about like now 6 to 7% based on different kinds of banks. In most of the developed countries, that is almost zero. They don't give any kind of a interest. Meaning is that that particular money should be invested in this somewhere in the economy. Okay, that is how you will see the growth. We don't want to keep the savings, because the savings are ideal. It will not help in generating the more revenues. So always that particular savings to be mobilized, and small scale units are the one way where we can easily mobilize that particular capital. And another most important thing about the small scale industry is the balanced regional development. So we have seen the large scale industries, they tend to be centralized. Okay, if you see the large scale industries, they are set up in a certain area, and the development occurs only in that region. For example, there is a in India there was when industrialization started, it was mostly focused on the big cities. okay, like Bombay and Bangalore, okay, those major cities. What happened was the development occurred. It was restricted to only certain part of the countries. Small scale industries can bring the balance in the regional development. The reason being, the small scale industries that can be set up in suburban areas or the rural areas, and they will help in developing that particular local economy. In suppose if it is set up in the rural, it is going to generate the employment. It is going to generate the wealth in that rural area. That is how we see the development is across all the regions. Small scale SSI promotes decentralized development of industries. They help to remove regional disparities by industrializing rural and backward areas. They also help to improve the standard of living in suburban and rural areas. Okay, and also there are government policies which are helpful in setting in rural and the backward areas. There will be some kind of a tax concessions or some kind of a financial assistance will be given for those people who set up SSI in such areas. Mobilization of a local resources, and we know that most of the time the small scale industry that runs, it requires the local resources, right? It will not be requiring any kind of a most of the time it will not require any kind of a raw material or anything which needs to be raw material or machinery which needs to be imported. So it is going to use all the local resources, and it is going to provide the employment to the all the local people, because the if most of the SSI will not require a very highly skilled employees. They need semi-skilled or unskilled who can be trained. So that is how it helps in mobilizing the local resources in terms of the employment, in terms of the capital, in terms of the growth of that particular region and sharing of the wealth. SSL helps to mobilize and utilize local resources like small savings and entrepreneurial talent, etc., which might otherwise remain idle and unutilized. As I said, whatever the material, whether it is a raw material or whether it is a human resources, if it is not utilized, then wealth cannot be generated. I always give the example: you have a piece of land and there are people who can work in that land. Until and unless a farmer or an entrepreneur puts his capital, thinks about some idea to what to grow, when he brings in all these resources, when he utilizes that land, then only the wealth can be created. These industries facilitate the growth of local entrepreneurs and self-employed professionals in small towns and villages. And next one, most important thing is export promotion. Nowadays, we are seeing a lot of products that are being created in the small scale industries that are exported to many countries. There is a huge demand for that. So, small scale industries constantly increasing its exports to other countries, and by exporting to other countries, it earns the valuable foreign currency. Okay, that foreign currency or the foreign exchange is very, very important for any country's growth. And also it will try to keep a balance between the kind of import a country doing and the kind of export we are doing. That should be balanced. So small scale industry helps in achieving that particular goal. SSI helps in reducing pressure on countries' balance of payments in two ways. So two ways: export as well as import. First, they do not require imports of sophisticated machinery or raw materials. So if you see the amount of imports that are done in the small scale industry is relatively very, very less, or you can say it is almost nil. But the secondly, small scale industry can earn valuable foreign exchange through the exports. By first is there is no imports, and we are having lot of exports from the small scale industry, through which we earn the valuable foreign exchange, which can be utilized by the country. there has been a substantial increase in the exports in the small scale sector. Consumer surplus. Now, in the small scale industry category, there are so many products. More than 5,000 products are being manufactured. Okay. Now, in this particular sector, we are some of the products we are producing in surplus. That is, it is meeting the demand of the country, and those can be used for exporting to the other countries where there is a requirement. SSI now produces wide range of mass consumption items. Over 5,000 products are being manufactured in small scale sector. About one half of the output of manufacturing sector in India comes from the small scale industry. This is the most important thing. Uh, the growth of the country is one of the factors for growth of the countries is the output manufacturing. So GDP is a one general index. GDP index will tell how countries economy is progressing, and also most important factor which contributes to the GDP is the output of a manufacturing sector. How much we are producing in the manufacturing sector, and half of that whatever the output that is coming from the manufacturing sector is contributed by the small scale industries. Even though there are large scale industries are there, but small scale industries is able to produce half of the total what is getting outputted from the manufacturing sector. Feeder to large scale industries. So this is a very important role which plays in the economic development. It acts as a feeder to the large scale industry. What is a feeder is most of the time small scale industries, they act like a ancillary units. What is the ancillary units? I told you ancillary units. They will not be producing the total end product, but they will be producing their they will be manufacturing some kind of parts or components or the accessories that is required for the large scale industry. For example, Belgaum is known for automobile spare parts. Many large companies, for example Maruti Suzuki, they heavily buy the automobile parts from the small scale industry that are situated in Belgaum region. So that is how the small scale industry can feed to the large scale industry. In this particular example, the small scale industries of Belgaum region, they are feeding the automobile sector. Okay, large companies, they are supplying it to many companies. They are producing because the large scale industries, they will not focus on the very small parts. Rather than manufacturing those parts, they will try to get it from the vendors, like from the small scale industry. Similarly, you can consider the aeroplane manufacturing. Most of the time, aeroplane manufacturing, the large companies that we have, they get the components from the other companies. For example, we have ACUS in Belgaum, which is feeding to the some of the aviation industries, giving some of the products. So small scale industry can act like a ancillary, and which will help the large scale industries to um, reduce their gestation time. What is the gestation time for automobile industry? If they start manufacturing all the small parts, okay, it will be the turnaround time will be very large. So what they will do is most of the parts, automobile parts, let's say clutches, gears, nuts, bolts, and some of the body parts, they will directly take it from the vendor. They will specify the quality, what quality they want, and according to that they will take it and they will assemble, and the production of the cars or the any vehicles would be much faster. Small scale industries plays a complementary role to large scale sector. They provide parts, components, accessories, etc. to the large scale industries. They serve as ancillary units. Okay. Then a social advantage. Okay, social advantage here is one. Most of the small scale industries, they are set up in such areas like rural suburban areas, sometimes like backward areas. So by doing that, what will happen is it will help in sharing the all the income and the wealth across all. If it is focused, if it is concentrated only in certain areas, then it would be like only that region will be having the all the wealth, and the people will be having more income there. So by having SSI, it gives a social advantage of distributing the wealth across the country. Small scale sector contributes towards the development of a socialistic pattern of a society by reducing concentration of income and wealth. Okay, so if we had only the large scale industries, they would be concentrated in some cities, okay, major cities, and all the wealth will be the wealth and the income will be concentrated in that particular region only. They provide an honorable and independent living to people with a limited resources. Okay, this is another advantage. In irrespective of what kind of a area they are, people can work there, and they can be independent, and they can live a honorable life. They facilitate wide participation of a public in the process of development. So because small scale industries, they are contributing the development of the nation, and small scale industry, it employs a large number of people. That is how there is a large public participation in the development of the nation. Share in industrial production, already we talked about that. The share of the small scale industry in the production is, it is constantly growing, and it is almost one half of the total production that happens in India. And we know that there are more than 5,000 products that are manufactured, different kinds of products that are manufactured in the small scale sector. SSI contributes more than one half of the total industrial production in India. About 500 products are manufactured in the small scale sector. Development of entrepreneurship. This is one biggest advantage is small scale industries help in developing the entrepreneurs. More and more entrepreneurs will come, they set up, and many of these small scale industries will, after successful setup, they in few years, in couple of years, they move from the small scale to medium scale, and medium scale to a large scale. So that is how it helps in building the development of the entrepreneurship. Okay. uh, the small scale units have helped develop a class of entrepreneur. These units facilitate self employment and spirit of self reliance in the society. Small scale industries can be started as per the convenience of the owner in terms of space, finance, and product and manpower. So, as per the requirement of the entrepreneur, how much space or what level of production he wants to achieve, based on that, he will have a limited space, limited finance, and manpower. So, he has a liberty to do that. And we know that the gestation period of the small scale industries is very small. It is about 2 to 6 months, and so that return on investment will be very high. And for recruiting the people, the kind of employees it will look for is most of the time it is the semi skilled or a skill label which are locally available. Okay, and who will be able to join in a much shorter notice, because they are available locally. It is advantageous, and also those resources can be hired at a much lower wages compared to the urban areas, right? Because of the urban areas, because of the lifestyle, the wages that has to be given to the employee is much higher compared to the small scale industries. Wherever high technology is involved, the parent company executes let us say certain small scale industry, they make the paper plates. So for making the paper plates, the machinery is required, and the different kinds of molds and all those technical things are involved there. In those cases, what the thing will do is the parent company, in the sense whoever is providing the machinery, they will provide the technical assistance to That's small scale industry. And the other way to handle that is by hiring the consultants who are expert in that particular technology. They can hire the consultants. They need not be on the full-time basis. Whenever, as and when they is required, their services can be availed. It is one of the best forms of self-employment, as well as giving employment opportunity to own kith and kin, friends and relatives, etc. And we know that most of the small scale industry, when you are recruiting the people, you will try to recruit the people from your own contacts, right? Through your friends or through relatives. That is how, in case of a small scale industries, because people are well known, the kind of a bonding between the employer and employees, it will be very, very good. In case of rural sector, small scale industry units will be able to have cheaper labor, especially in off seasons. The reason being, the cheaper labor, the labor is cheaper in the rural or suburban area, is the cost of living itself is lower. So that is why the wages can be lower. In developing countries, the SSI units are necessary to assist the bigger industries and new projects. We already saw that small scale industry, they work as ancillary units, helping the large scale industries. Thus, they not only contribute to the economy of the nation, but also create employment opportunity to people around the project site. So whenever if there is any new project, the SSI will work as an ancillary, helping the new projects. And by doing so, it is not only helping the nation, it is helping to create the environment around the new project, which will have like more employment opportunities. In case of a small scale industry unit started by experienced and talented executive, there are abundant scope to develop high technology components for MNCs and also organize exports. Okay, so small scale industries, we can like multinational companies, if they have a requirement for any specific part or anything, those can be manufactured here, and those can be exported. Most of the electronics components or the mobile components, it is done in that way. The multinational companies who are leaders in mobile industry, they take the help of the small scale industry to get the kind of equipment they need, uh, equipment or the parts they need for the making of the mobiles. Due to increase in the population, there has been increase in production of consumer goods and fast moving consumer goods, FMCG. So fast moving consumer goods is the all the consumables, whatever we consume, that comes in under the FMCG sector. FMCG sector is example soaps, okay, then toothpaste, then food products, all the biscuits, cookies, all those come under the FMCG. It is called as a fast moving because they are consumed in high, because as the population increases, consumption of those things will increase. In view of this, there is a bigger role of a small scale industry to take up the components production and even manufacture the product itself, because FMCG is constantly, it is going to consume more. FMCG sector, all the goods in the FMCG sector, their consumption is going to increase year by year. The reason being the population is increasing. Okay, when the population is increasing, automatically it will start consuming more. So to supplement that, we need to have the small scale industries to cater that particular need. The small units are exempted from excise duty up to 75 lakhs per annum turnover. In case of industries in the backward districts, waiver or concession is given for various statutory taxes. Thus, lot of paperwork and formalities are avoided. These are the some benefits given by the government, and these benefits will keep on changing year by year and sector by sector. They will target certain sectors, certain products, and that is how they will provide the whatever the concession or waivers they want to give. Since employees are recruited based on the contacts, relations will be loyalty to the owner, and hence there will be no trade union. Okay, the reason for being no trade union is a particular unit will have like a small set of people who are very known. Okay, it is not, these people are not organized as in large scale, because in case of a large scale industries, there will be a lot of employees will be there. The labor required would be very large. They will be well organized, having a trade union. And in case of a large industries, most of the time the relation between the trade union and the management will not be very cordial. So if you see the examples of the trade unions going on strike for various reasons, that shows the there is some disparity between the management and the trade unions. Such kind of a problems will not be there in the small scale industries. What are the steps to start an small scale industry? These are the different steps we can take to start the small scale industry. Starting in a small scale industry is a complex job. The potential entrepreneur has to pass through number of steps, step by step approach to achieve the goal of setting up an SSI. Okay, even though the amount of capital required is less, the whole process of setting up a SSI is very complex. So entrepreneur has to carefully go through all the steps. Okay, he has to evaluate all the steps very carefully, and make sure that every step that is being taken is appropriately worked upon, which will make sure that the particular small scale industry will be successful. In fact, deciding and motivating the self is the first bedrock upon which the establishment concept of an enterprise is entirely posited. Okay, first thing is the entrepreneur himself motivating to work on certain SSI. Similarly, the identification of viable project ensures the proposition that we will well begun is half done. One second. Okay, so well begun is a half done. That is true. If we start the particular organization with a proper preparation step by step, then the rate of success is very, very high. So here are the some of the steps that are involved, which should be taken by the entrepreneur to set up his small scale industry. Decision to be self-employed, first is the he has to make a decision to be self-employed. Okay, this is the most crucial decision youth has to take, shunning wage employment and opting for some self-employment or entrepreneurship. And second one is analyzing his strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat. That is a SWOT analysis. Entrepreneur has to do the SWOT analysis. Okay, the potential entrepreneur has to analyze his strength. What are his strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats, while deciding a certain career in the entrepreneurial area. So we talked about the SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis can be done on individuals, it can be done on problems, it can be done on the organization. So he has to do the SWOT analysis to identify the four quadrants and act accordingly. This analysis enable him to know what type and size of a business would be the most suitable. This will vary from person to person. Okay, because every person's SWOT analysis will result in the outcome would be different. So according to that, the size, what he wants to do will vary from entrepreneur to entrepreneur. Scanning of a business environment. What is the scanning of the business environment? Is understanding the business environment and finding the opportunities. So what kind of opportunities that are present in the business environment, he should be able to pursue those, and he should be able to use those to the fullest extent. It is always essential on the part of the entrepreneur to study and understand the prevailing business environment. In order to ensure success of his enterprise, entrepreneur should scan the business opportunities and threats in the environment. He should study the administrative framework, procedures, policies, rules, and regulation, other formalities implemented by the government. So whenever he is setting up his business, he has to make sure that he understands what are the different policies are there in that sector, what are the rules, regulations. Okay, those are very important with respect to the government agencies. Training. So if he requires any kind of a training in particular entrepreneurial area, he can approach the different agencies that are available, who conduct the entrepreneurship development program, or the EDPs, which will help in understanding some of the things, okay, through those EDPs. Before going to start the enterprise, a potential entrepreneur must access his own deficiencies, which he can compensate through the training. Okay, basically, whatever deficiencies he has, he can compensate through the training. By getting trained, he can move those weakness into a strength area. He can avail the facilities of various training institutes like EDI, NIE, SBUD, IEDs existing in our country. These institutes are providing the tailor-made entrepreneurship development programs, EDPs. Tailor-made in the sense, these entrepreneurships are done for various different sectors. For example, like textile, for automobile, FMCG sector. So that is how they will target the different sectors, and the entrepreneurs who are interested in those sectors can participate in respective EDP programs. The skill upgradation training programs for benefit of the new entrepreneurs, existing entrepreneurs, and for the employees of the small scale industries. As I told you, we have the DIC. DIC also conducts the EDPs in DIC is the District Industries Center. It is in Udyambag. If you are interested in any of entrepreneurial activity, you have some new idea you want to start up, uh, DIC is the first agency that you would be contacting, and they will be having the training programs in many EDP programs. You can inquire about those EDP programs, and if it is of your interest, you can enroll. The EDP's programs will range from 5 days to 7 days. Okay, it depends on what kind of a area they are focusing. And during those programs, you will be exposed to many other entrepreneurs, okay, who are successfully running their businesses. They will come as a guest, and they give their inputs, and they EDPs will help in interacting with those entrepreneurs. Next one is the most important thing, is a product selection. Product selection is what kind of a product you want to develop. So whether there is a demand for such product, and what is the existing competition that is available in that product, what benefits you are going to put from your end, so that you will be able to beat the competition. That particular analysis should be done in order to select, in order to zero on particular product. The most important step is to decide what business to venture into, the product or range of products that will be selected for manufacturing, and what quantity, how much quantity you want to produce. Level of activity will help in determining the size of the business and the form of the ownership. The form of the ownership is like whether you want to have a partnership, you want to have proprietorship, or you want to have a private limited, public limited. Those are the different forms. One could generate as many project ideas as one can through the environment scanning. By looking at the environment, so you can generate lot of ideas. So we have to closely check on those ideas, and those opportunities, and we should zero on the one final product. Market survey is the most important factor before launching any kind of a product. We should have Entrepreneur should have an idea of what kind of a market it is. Okay, and for that he would require a data collection. He needs to collect some kind of he has to do the some kind of a survey and collect the data, and based on the those surveys he can understand what product he can have, what range of products he can have, and whether that is a suitable market or not. It is always convenient to manufacture an item, but difficult to sell. So it is rational on the part of the entrepreneur to survey the market thoroughly before embarking upon production. So before you are once you zeroed upon the product, you have to do the market survey to make sure that whether that product can be sold in that particular market or not. You should not directly venture into the market. Market survey implies systematic collection of a data by entrepreneur about the product for manufacture, demand, supply, lag, extent of competition, frequency of demand, pattern, design of demand, its potential share in the market pricing, distribution policy, etc. The principle is to produce what actually people demand. Okay, so we have to understand what people are what is their demand, and whether the demand can be fulfilled by the product that the entrepreneur is thinking about. So that thing should be done. And for a market survey, lot of government institutions are there. They will help with the survey, and there are a lot of other private parties also who are involved in the market research. Okay, market survey, those can also be consulted for the particular market survey. Form of organization. So what kind of organization he wants to set up, he has to decide on the form based on his requirements, whether it's a proprietorship or he wants to have a partnership. Normally partnership is done when you want to reduce the risk, when you want to have the additional capital from the partners. So those are the way you will go for the partnership. And if you are you have your own source of capital and you want to do alone, you can go for the proprietorship. Other forms can be limited company, it can be public limited or a private limited, or it can be a cooperative society. So, and this will depend upon the type, purpose, and the size of the entrepreneur's business. Okay, if it is a very small business, maybe proprietorship is that is suitable. If it is like little larger, then maybe partnership for the private company, and it is still further larger, then it can go for a public limited company. One may also decide on the form of a ownership on the basis of resources at hand, or from the point of view of the investment. So those are the two based on the investment. If you can do that particular investment, you can go for proprietorship. Otherwise, you can go for the other forms. Location is he has to decide on the location, what is the size of that particular area, and how much area he will require. All those things should be thought about. Whether he is going to own that particular land, piece of land, or is going to lease it. All those things has to be decided. The next step will be to decide the location where the unit is to be established. Will it be hired or owned? The uh, size of the plot, covered or open area, and exact site will have to be decided. So you have to zero up on the site. Then next is the technology. What kind of a technology you are going to use? Whether you are going to build that technology or you are going to get that technology from somewhere. All those things should be decided. To manufacture any item, technology is used. Information on all available technologies should be collected by the entrepreneur and the most suitable one to be identified. This will This will also be useful to determine the type of machinery and equipment to be installed. So if he has a requirement of any kind of a machinery or equipment, you should think about what kind of a machinery you want, what are the exact specification. The entrepreneur can contact DIC, as I said, District Industries Center, DIC, TCO, etc. agencies. Machinery and equipment. If there is a requirement for the machinery and or the equipment, he has to contact the suppliers, make sure that the kind of machinery he is looking is available, the different vendors. He should do the price comparison, and also you have to think from the perspective of after purchasing the machinery, what is involved in the installation and what is involved in the later when the plant becomes operational, what is the maintenance that is required. He has to think from all the aspect when he is talking about the when he is thinking about the machinery and equipment. Having chosen the technology, the machinery and equipment required for manufacturing the chosen products have to be decided, suppliers have to be identified, and their costs have to be estimated. One may have to plan well in advance for machinery and equipment, especially if it has to be procured from outside the town, state, or country. Okay, if you are importing or if you are getting it from other state or other towns, you have to properly plan. You have to decide on what kind of a machinery. There could be n number of suppliers. You have to check on the supplier who is more suitable to your location or your needs. Project report preparation. I told you, project report is the most important document that the entrepreneur will produce. This is the document that is going to be evaluated everywhere. It will be used everywhere, whether is for getting some kind of a concession. If any kind of a government policies, everywhere the report is required. If you want financing, okay, you need capital from banks or the other financial institution, project report is required. If you contact a venture capitalist, the first thing he will be asking is the project report. The project report will involve all the details. So we talked about what the project report contents will be. It will talk about everything so that these different agencies can assess what is the success rate and what is the rate of return, whether it will be successful or not. Because when financial institution, they are putting their money, when they are giving the financing the particular entrepreneur, they want to make sure that that particular idea is a workable idea, and potentially it will be successful, and it will generate a lot of return on the investment ROI. After deciding the form of the ownership, location, technology, machinery, and equipment, the entrepreneur should be ready to prepare his project report or the feasibility study. Once you have all these things decided, right? You decided ownership, you decided the location, what kind of a technology, machinery, and everything is decided, then he should prepare the project report, and all the feasibility study will be part of that project report. The economic viability and the technical feasibility of the product selected have to be established through the project report. So economic viability is whether that particular project is viable economically, whether it will be whether economically, whether it is a viable project or not. And second one, technical feasibility. Technical feasibility, the kind of idea you have, whether technology will be able to support and make it successful, means technically whether it is possible or not. All those things should be included as the part of the project report. A project report that may now be prepared will be helpful in formulating the production, marketing, financial, and management plans. So this would be helpful. The report would be helpful in all aspects of the organization. It will also be helpful in obtaining finance, shed, power connection, water connection, raw material, quotas, etc. The entrepreneur has to consider the guidelines given by the planning commission. So we have already seen what are the planning guidelines given by the planning commission. Now it is Niti Aayog. According to those guidelines, he has to prepare the report. Project appraisal. Ordinarily, the project appraisal implies the assessment of the project. It is a technique for ex-ante analysis of an scheme or a project. What is a project appraisal is? They will appraise the project, and they will make sure that whether from all aspects, okay, whether it is a technical, whether it is a economical, whether it is social, from all angles, whether it is feasible or not, whether it is a uh, viable or not. That is the through the appraisals we will come to know about those things. While preparing to set up an enterprise, the entrepreneur has to carefully appraise the project from the standpoint of economic, financial, technical, market, managerial, social aspects to arrive the most socially feasible enterprise. To avail the finance from the financial institution and banks, a comprehensive appraisal of projects carrying techno-economic feasibility aspects should be undertaken by the entrepreneur. So, this feasibility study should be carried out, which will be required for the financial institution and the banks. Thus, a project which is selected should be technically feasible and economically viable, and only then it will be bankable. Means if it is possible from the all the aspects, economic, social, then finance, all aspects, then only bankable in the sense, then only it will be considered for the financing. Then only the banks will give the banks will invest in that particular small scale industry. So these are the following, these are the different appraisals that should be carried out: economical appraisal, financial appraisal, technical appraisal, management appraisal, organizational appraisal, operational appraisal. Operational appraisal, once the plant is starts running, how it will be operated. So that appraisal should be done, and finally market appraisal. Next one is the finance, which we'll see in the next session.